pronouns are she, her. You may know me as Madromi Crafts on Instagram or Madromi Designs for now on Gumroad. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is a channel about cross stitch and crafting. Today we're going to talk about cross stitch. A lot of investments in one specific thing that we're going to discuss later. You're probably going to see a hint in the title of this video. Also, I have a very big finish to share with you. I have a little bit of whip, discussing some of designing endeavors, some other investments, fabrics, flosses, all sort of goodies. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. I usually record once a month. I will have about one at least Flosstube extra a month. Also, for those of you who have been coming back and are subscribed already, thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking with me, especially when there is this much of a gap in between my videos. I really appreciate you coming back, liking, subscribing, all the comments that you leave for me. I enjoy all of them and try to respond to all of your comments for sure. All right, so let's talk about events first. So what happened in the past month since the last time I checked in with you is that we wrapped up the Earth Day charity bundle that the Stitchers Collective put out, and that was wrapped up. And as a result of the sales that we had on the bundle, which was 31 patterns for at least $10 of donation, we raised $13,286. That's a lot, and we had over 500 donors to our cause, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much to every single one of you who have participated in this charity event and purchased the bundle. If you somehow missed out on it but you are interested in one of two of the designs and you are looking for them, they're no longer available under a bundle, but the designers who participated in that event are coming up and releasing their patterns. The pattern that I came up with, the Mother Nature pattern, will be soon available on my page. So the Stitchers Collective teamed up with the Starlight Stitchery, and we are releasing 16 patterns by 16 designers from the Stitchers Collective for this charity bundle. So how it works is the Starlight Stitchery has put up a page that you can go to, and there are steps that you can take. You can donate for $10 or more. You can purchase the bundle, and then after the event is done, the event will run throughout the month of June, and after it's done, the whatever was raised and Starlight Stitchery will cover all the fees themselves, all the transactional fees. So the pure amount that people donate to receive that bundle will be donated to 50% will go to the Rainbow Railroad, which is a fantastic organization. If you have not heard of them, please look into them. I will actually put down the link for the Starlight Stitchery page with all the information about the event, links, introduction of the organizations that were chosen for this event, and all the other things that are related to it. I'm going to put the link down below. So the other 50% will go to the Transgender Law Center. This is another great organization that is focused on advocacy and representing transgender individuals when it comes to issues that are related to justice system, especially nowadays that a lot of these laws are passing in different states, and I'm based in the U.S., so what I experience is the U.S. experience, um, and these laws are specifically targeting, unfortunately, transgender individuals. So lastly is a shop update. So as I hinted earlier, I am moving shop. So far I have been offering my patterns on Gumroad. However, I have noticed that what I do struggle with is foot traffic and exposure. And unfortunately, not a lot of people actually go organically to Gumroad to search for patterns. And majority of people actually like, and I see this myself and I do it myself, when I'm looking for a pattern, I'm not specifically a designer, I go to Etsy and just type in a keyword and search for that specific keyword in patterns, and then follow it that way. So that means that you get more exposure that way, and people can discover your shop and your patterns and your designs that way. And that's not something that I have been experiencing, and I'm interested in getting into that. So I discussed that with many of the designers who have shops on Etsy, in the collective, and I decided to move to Etsy. So it hasn't happened yet. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of like I'm rebranding at the same time. I have recharted so many of my older patterns that have been and that not being designed in one stitch, so the formatting was not really ideal. So I'm actually in the process of recharting everything. Also worked on rebranding, so all of that is happening at the same time. So hopefully soon I'm gonna be opening my Etsy shop, and we'll put in like upload all my patterns there and that are available to that day, whenever that happens. And then I will announce it, hopefully here in the community tab, and also on my Instagram account I will announce and provide the link and all of that. Alright, enough shop talk. Okay, let's talk about finishes. So you already know that there is a big finish, but before I talk about that finish, let's talk about this other finish. So from the Earth Day collection, there were so many patterns that I was interested in and designs that I wanted to stitch, but then I didn't know where to start. So there were a couple of them, I think 3, that I really wanted to start. So I put a poll on Instagram, and Instagram chose this. So it's Greenwashing by SproutingLupine, and here is my finish. So I started and finished it. There it is. So if you look at the actual image of the pattern itself, you notice that there are a lot of, in the original color palette, there's a lot of like bright greens, but I went with the more fall colors, and that was mainly due to the fact that I wanted to stitch this in silk, and I didn't have a lot of those bright green colors in silk. Instead, I have a lot of oranges and browns in there, so I decided to go with that, and this is the result. Alright, so it's a stitch on 20 count Ada from Fortnite Fabrics in Marvelous, and the silks that I'm using, are from 3 different brands, and there are some NPI silk, some I think Silks for You. I had those bags that I chose some of the threads from, and also flower silk. Yeah, I really love it. I don't know how I'm gonna finish it, but it's done for now. It's gonna join the rest of my finishes. Now to the big finish. Are you ready? Are you ready? I finished Modern Folk Embroidery, The Fruits of Plenty. And here it is. Yes, I love this. I absolutely am in love with this finish. I finished it, I washed it, and then steam dried it right away, and I could not stop staring at it. Like I was just staring at it all night. It was, it's just the most beautiful thing I have ever finished. And I think that I did a great job, if I say so myself, in choosing colors. This was one of the first times that I went this bright, and I'm not mad about it. I love the result. Look how striking this is. So it's a stitch on 20 count Zorkart Ada in charcoal, and these are two different sulkies. The red is Christmas red, which is 1147, and then the variegated one, the blendable one, is Sulky 12 weight blendable in deep jewels, which is 4111. So yeah, already ordered a frame. So Megan from Long Distance Stitchers asked me, okay, so how are you gonna finish this? Are you gonna frame it yourself, or are you gonna send it out to be framed? To be honest, and I shared that with her as well, I don't have that much like that budget yet to do professional framing like that, because like dropping $200-300 on a frame, that's not feasible for me. Like that's not in the budget. So instead I went with Frame It Easy, which is the company that I purchased frames before for my I think black vintage, and also this one, the Afshan sampler in the background that you see right there. That is another one of their frames. They're actually great quality. They come and you can just open the back, and you have to do your own you know, pinning or whatever, however you want to like stabilize your stitch, and then frame it yourself. So those were not matted, but I'm ordering a double matting for this one, so I'm curious to see how that goes. Fingers crossed. I also had another finish, which is the model I stitched for the Pride pattern that is released as part of the bundle, Pride bundle, and is coming out June 1st. Hold on, let me see if I can give you a sneak peek. So we all agreed that no spoiling, so no spoiling. I'm not gonna spoil this, but I am I'm gonna show you sliver of the design. So alright, I'm showing you this much. So this is 20 count Ada in Mind Blowing from Fortnite Fabric, and I'm using Cosmo threads. So I stitched this with Cosmo, and I like that it doesn't give most coverage. I think the coverage is equivalent. I know I have heard that Cosmo has better coverage than DMC. I don't think so. Not at least not for me. And I'm someone who stretches the thread a lot because I pull on it a lot when I'm stitching. Maybe because I'm in a rush, or I don't know. I've tried a lot to reduce the tension on my thread when I'm stitching. It hasn't worked so far. As a result, I shred thread a lot, and which is not good. But that has been like happening across the board with all threads. Doesn't matter what I stitch with, because I pull on it a lot and hard. I have to either cut my thread shorter a little bit than usual, than what a lot of people do, or I have to just accept the fact that my thread will be stretched and I have to like cut larger, like a longer piece of it, tail end of it out, and switch my thread often. So the coverage I get usually across the board is actually less than the coverage of a lot of other people with the same thread on the same fabric, if that makes sense to you. So this one with Cosmo, I have heard that a lot of people describe their coverage to be better. For me, it's the same, has been the same as DMC. I like the color range. I would say the DMC is a little shinier than Cosmo in the sheen of the threads. But yeah, they're growing. They're adding numbers of thread, new shades. Now, like they recently, I think they increased their numbers by 20 or something. So recently they have increased that, so they're gone now to 500 colors, which is great. So yeah, but other than that, I enjoyed it. It was really enjoyable. So I'm actually providing both Cosmo and DMC codes for the pattern that comes. I stitch my model with Cosmo, but you can stitch it via DMC or any other color. These are another sneak peek or info, whatever. My pattern is designed in Ace pride flag, which is what I identify as, so I want to make sure that I'm represented, because I feel like a lot of times when it comes to 2S LGBTQIA plus, A is at the tail end. A lot of times somehow we get forgotten. So yeah, we just wanted to represent. So yes, there are the colors of Ace flag. So again, just a little bit of a sneak peek, so you don't have to wait a lot, because you know, by the time I release this video, you have to wait one more day. Okay, so let's talk about whips. So I worked on the natural wool salve, which is a mystery salve by Pixie cross stitch. So the last time I shared this with you, I finished March. Now I added April, so I'm one month behind. I have to complete this next section, which is actually a quick stitch, so I'm not really mad about it. I'm sure I can catch up really easily in June. And I'm gonna share with you my June plans, and this really easily fits in that plan for the reasons that I'm gonna share. So this is 18 count light coffee Ada, and the thread that I use, this pattern is suggested to be stitched in 2 different colors, but I'm actually using one variegated color for the whole thing. I'm using Sulky 12 weight blendable in olive tree, which is this like really stark, like contrasting, not contrasting, but it's like, you know what I mean, like extreme tonal change. Let's say that. So from really light green to really dark green. Right, I enjoy this pattern so much. It's such relaxing pattern and whip to work on. I don't know, is it because it's monochrome? Is it because the amount that is released for each month is just enough? It's like, it's not really overwhelming. Even the the most complicated sections so far have been easy to stitch in a week maximum. Most of the time I can knock it down in 1 or 2 setting, which is fantastic because usually I start my month with my Wipgo, and then at tail end of the month I get to all the other projects that I want to get to in that month. And usually this is the last thing I stitch each month. So technically I still have 1 day to catch up on this. And who knows, I may actually stitch the May section tomorrow before June arrives. I don't know. So next I worked on my Wipgo goals. The first one was that greenwashing, because the prompt was, so this is what I'm doing this month for Wipgo. Instead of actually assigning projects to the numbers, I assigned prompts to each number, which gives me more flexibility when it comes to choosing my projects that I want to work on. So let's say, for example, the first prompt for month of May was the project release progress. So I had a lot of different projects with just a little bit of work on it. But because the most recent one was greenwashing and I really wanted to finish that, I focused on it and I finished it. For the next prompt, I went with a project that has a human on it, I think, or was it a funny project? I don't remember. I don't remember what the prompt was for this, but I end up choosing to stitch on Tom's Foolery by Hands Across the Sea. So this is Tom's Foolery. So last time I finished page 1, so this time I did page 2. And here we are. I finished page 2. I just love this weird rainbow flower there, and then this odd looking human on the chimney, which is so weird and random. And just beside it is an animal that I don't know if it's a dog or is a pig or who knows. So this is on 20 count cashmere blue, and I'm using my own Sulky conversion. So colors are a little different from what is actually called for. Next, I worked on a model. I usually don't share my models. I rarely share anything about my patterns that I'm designing until they're actually ready to go. But for some reason, I'm feeling compelled to actually share this one. So I shared a little bit about like a sneak peek of my progress last time, and now here's another one. So here we are now. Yep. Then right after I finished my motherfolk embroidery pattern, I really wanted to stitch on something really, you know, soothing for the mind. I just finished like a big project, so I wanted something that sounded and felt like a break. And you know, I was on Etsy and checking my favorite shops, and just noticed that Anna from PeruvianFlair just came out with new pattern. She released a new pattern. So, and it's sneaky, there was no announcement or anything. it was just the pattern showed up on her store. So I grabbed it and started it. So here's the pattern. To couple, this is the third one. She has 2 more. So I have stitched this 2. I have not stitched 1. I don't think so. Yeah, I have not. So I have stitched 2 and this is 3. Or no, I stitched 1 and then didn't stitch 2 and this is 3. So I'm stitching 3. So it's with 4 different DMC colors. She has suggested some, but you know, you can choose your own palette. I went with the palette that is sort of close to this, but it's a little different, a little brighter. I have the black and the dark red, and then change the other 2. And this is my progress. So I have finished 4 of the boxes. So today I worked on this and I finished that. Yep. This is coming along really quickly. And by the way, this hoop is like a cheap hoop that I bought, and it's not the best, but I don't know, it's really easy to move, so I'm using it. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, that Takapu pattern is I started a style with Yasmin from Yasmin Made with Love, and it is a Takapu style with, I'm gonna put it down here, I think it's Takapu style with M and Y. So if I'm not correct, I mean, I'm gonna put it down here. If you want to join, you can join. It's a start along, it's not a stitch along. So as long as you start on any of the 3 Takapu patterns that are available now, I know Yasmin is working on all 3 of them in one piece of cloth, and I think she is now working on the first one. So you can, you know, by all means, pick and choose. So I do want to finish model stitching the pattern that I just showed you. And by the way, I'm gonna offer a monochrome version for that too, just in case if anyone wants to use it for September, like sampler September that is coming up, or black sampler November that's, you know, coming up. Any of those like events that are involve like the monochrome pattern, that's going to be offered. And I actually designed the pattern first in monochrome, like in one color, and then I looked at it and I decided to be brave and branch out, and that's my goal this year, to branch out. So I designed it in colors. And I'm actually really enjoying the result. As you saw, it's really bright, it's really beautiful, and it resembles a lot of the colors that you see in decorative fabric art in Iran and also rugs. So I'm really happy with the result so far. So I can't wait to finish it so I can share it with all of you. So yeah, that's the plan. However, also June is Pride Month, right? So I would love to enjoy stitching on projects and patterns that have been designed by members of 2S LGBTQIA plus community, and that is what I want to do this year. So that's why I said the natural world style fits in it, because Christy identifies as queer, and of course her pattern is one of the patterns that I'm going to be stitching on in the month of June. Also, Wipgo numbers came up for June. There are number 4 and 16. 4 for me is full coverage, so I'm like bending a rule a little bit here, because the full coverage that I have is not, at least to my knowledge, designed by member of LGBTQIA community. So instead, I am going by, and correct me if I'm not wrong, but I think I heard that, like, I think I saw their name, like the designer of Bella Filipina, listed as someone who's identifies as member of the queer community. So I am gonna be stitching on my like a puppy, because the next page that is here, it's almost full coverage. Like only this section will not be covered, but the rest is majority of her dress, and it's full coverage. So I'm gonna count this as a full coverage for next month, and that's what I'm gonna be stitching in the month of June. For that, the next number was 16, and for me 16 was working on a pattern with flower or tree. So for that, by the way, Wipgo is not my idea. I always link her, Jessie Mary, who is the one who designed and came up with this idea, in my description box. But just in case if you are not checking the box, I want to make sure that I mention it in the video that it's not my idea at all. This is something that she came up with, and one of the most famous things that she says always reminds us that it's your board, it's your rules. So for that, that's why I'm tweaking things this month, just to make sure that it fits what I'm actually working on or planning to work on. If that is cheating, it's cheating, then I'm cheater. So then next prompt, next number is 16. For me, that is working on a pattern that has the flower or tree motif, and I am stitching on, I'm choosing this Spirits of the Dead by Modern Folk Embroidery, and of course there are a couple of plants and flowers there, so here we go, it fits the bill. So I have finished this part, and I'm moving to this section right now. So I'm going to work on the top section, which includes the flower pot there. And here, where I am now. So as I said, half of it is done. I'm working on the other half. This is 18 count Christmas red damask from Fabric Flair, and I am stitching with Sulky blendable in parchment, which is this white and cream, and so it's variegated. Yep. Alright, next let's talk about Stitch Your Kindness, and then we can move to all the investments, right? Okay, so first, a few weeks ago, Sarah Ward on Instagram messaged me, letting me know that she bought a few books, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from eBay, and one of the books in there was something that she thinks I can use in my designs. So she's in UK, and and she asked if she can like send it to me, and I said of course. However, shipping is expensive. I asked if I can compensate her shipping costs, and she said no, and she kindly sent it to me, and I am so thankful. So this is the book. It says Persian rock motifs for needlepoint. I don't know if I can show you any of this, but this is all like patterns. But you know what? A lot of these are in public domain, so I'm gonna actually show you from the far, so you see. There's so many. motifs that are used in this. So yeah, it's a old book. I don't know when was this published. Let me see. Is there a date? 1975. Oh, that is old. So this is from 1975. So yeah, thank you, Sarah. I'm so thankful. Yeah, so nice of her. Next, so if you remember in my last Flosstube, I shared my newfound obsession with a specific designer, which is Workbasket. And it's really unfortunate that I discovered them when they recently retired. They just recently retired. Up to, like, I would say before pandemic, they had trunk shows everywhere, and they would offer printout of their like patterns to stores. But they stopped. They decided to retire. Of course, my luck. And I was introduced to them by Nutia from Daybreak Stitchery. She found them on like a chance last year, a few months ago, when we went out to our outing, me and her. What's the name of the shop? Oh my god, I cannot remember. Where did you go? Oh my god. I'll put it down here. You should see it here now. Oh my god, I can't even remember. So I just remember it was in Indiana. And we don't have a lot of LNSs close to us. So for us, it's a day trip to go to LNS. So last time, we went to Indiana to House of Stitches. Anyway, so we went there, and that was the place that she bought her pattern from last time. So she found the stock, whatever they had, and we talked about it, and at the time I didn't know they were out of print. So we were just talking about how weird it is that we have not seen this, designer anywhere else. And I bought some patterns, I came home, and then I did a search and realized that they're out of print. Guess what? I reached out to the store, asked, and there was some other patterns that I was interested in. Unfortunately, people bought them out, so they were out of all of that. So my quest began. Last time when I shared that there were a lot of I'm interested in the patterns, Michelle Bendy, from Bendy Stitchy, she mentioned that she has an extra copy of one of the Workbasket patterns, which is Humble Home. And if I like it, and I will say, I say yes. So first of all, it came with this sticker, this sticky notepad, and a nice note. And this is the pattern that Michelle sent me. This is Humble Home. Just look at the pattern. Look at this. It's a wild hen. I don't know. There's a little foxy there. Or is it a cat? Who knows? There is a dog. There's a sheep. A squirrel. This is like, you know what I mean? So here's the thing. I have fell down really hard, fell hard down the rabbit hole of Workbasket. And I have been spending a lot of time, unhealthy amount of time, on eBay. So I have turned into one of those people. I've been making fun of those people, and I'm now one of them. What I mean is, I have been on hunt to find as many patterns as I can that I like. So I have found a few. One may say this is excessive. I will say they are wrong. So let me give you a tour of what I have so far. And I have to say, there is one other pattern that I am in search of, that I have been told that you cannot find it at all because that's a unicorn pattern now, and it's a sampler. And now I have made peace with the fact that I may never ever stitch it, and that's fine. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with it, and that's what it looks like. I'm gonna just insert the photo here. I know, it's just a sampler, just like any other sampler, but I don't know. I have seen a version of this that someone else has stitched with different colors, which is like blues and browns, and it's beautiful. And I would love to stitch it. The border, there was something about the border, so I actually searched and I found another pattern that has not the stack border, but the same, similar, not the same, similar style of border. Right, I'm gonna share that with you later. But anyway, so that's Stitch in Time by Workbasket. It's a unicorn pattern, and I cannot find it anywhere. Like, it's nowhere to be found. Yeah. The other pattern I bought 3 times now. First from House of Stitches, and then in email she told me that it's backlogged, and also that there is like a huge possibility that it's not going to be restocked again, because the designers are sending out whatever they are already printed, and they're not going to reprint any of their patterns. That means that in a lot of stores who previously would be able to reach out to them and restock, they still have the pattern listed as in a stock, but it's not really. So you buy it, and then you have to wait a few weeks, and then you reach out via email, and then you realize that they don't really have it in stock, and they're just ordered it, and they're waiting for the response, which means that it's not gonna happen. So I have canceled it now twice because both shops didn't have it, and then third time I purchased it 2 weeks ago, and I have not heard from them either. So fingers crossed. I don't know. And it's this pattern. It's Quicker Crow. I don't know, something about that crow. It's a simple pattern though, right? It's a simple pattern. I should not be really attached to it, but for some weird reason I am. I get it now. Now I get all those people who have unicorn patterns. I used to make fun of you. I'm so sorry. I get it now. I get the urge to collect them all. And it's weird. It's so weird. Anyway, long story long. So that was one. And then now I'm going to go over, now we are entering the investment part, because all the other Workbasket patterns that I'm going to share with you, and there are a lot of them, are ones that I purchased myself. So first, let me share this one that was actually a really nice surprise, because I thought that I'm actually purchasing just the pattern, but it arrived as like a bundle. So let me show you the pattern first. It's called Crow Flowers by Workbasket. Look at those birds. This is I mean, yeah. And it came with a piece of fabric. I think it's 32 count. That's not right way to stitch. I don't stitch on this. I mean, you know, that's not for me. You know, I'm an Ada stitcher, so I don't know what to do with this. And a couple of DMCs that are called for. Right. Then we have God's Critters. It has birds and is that a dog or a moose? I don't know. There are a couple of rabbits here, and then there are squirrels all the way up, and then birds. I love how they charted their peacocks. You're gonna see a lot of peacocks, and every single one of them are strange. So that's another one. Then swans. This is like a very old pattern. Look at how it is. So this is swans. It's so old that they used to actually use the actual. This is the actual photo. I love how they charted their birds. They're all quirky. They're every single pattern that I bought from them has its own quirk, and it's the reason why I am really interested and really fascinated by Workbasket is because this is such a diverse range of styles, and at the beginning it was really confusing to me, but then I researched and found out that there are two designers. It's a team of two, and I think one of them was into more creme looking patterns, and the other one was the one who designed, or at least that's what I'm thinking, the other one was the one who designed all the quirky animals, because the style is so different. Their styles are really different, and that gave them range, because you have everything covered. You have from like really quirky animals to something that looks really classic in terms of what sampler looks like. But even in those samplers, there are really quirky motifs. So I love it. So yeah, swans. This is Maze. So this pattern is designed with eyelet, Smyrna crosses, and rose square. These three as a specialty stitches. So what you can stitch the whole thing in regular crosses. Yeah, the color is out of date. Like this is outdated color palette, but of course you can change the colors, and I do change colors all the time. This is Sunflower. So this is Sunflower House. I'm probably gonna cut the alphabet, but I love their birds again, and the flowers. Cute. And speaking of funny animals, this is Bunny Attitude. Oh, just look at that body. That's so weird. And the carrots, they're all squiggly. This is, yeah. And And by the way, I'm gonna make, I already made a working copy of the majority of them, but I'm gonna make working copy of all of them. There is no way in heck I'm gonna mark any of these or handle it too many times. I'm gonna just, these will be living in the sleeves forever. This is Country. So this is the same pattern, but it was stitched on two different like fabric, just to show you how they look like if you stitch them on different fabric. I love this. Just look at this. That's that's a horizontal tree. So cute. And at the first glance, I thought that this is a fish, but it's actually a weird bird that is flying there. And the sun has a face, and for some reason a squirrel, which is this one, is bigger than the dog. I just love it. Yeah. This one is Woodlands. This is another one that is like similar to the previous. The trees are really interesting in this one. I really love it. This is Perky Peacock. Let's look at that. So interesting. This one is Have a Carrot. Again, just look at those carrots. And the bunny. Isn't this the weirdest thing? It's so interesting. Yeah. Then Rooster Attitude. Just look at that. This reminded me of my own design, Fussy Rooster. Has it like, it's not in a way similar in terms of like the actual design, but the attitude of the rooster is the same. So full of himself. Just look at him. And then Swan Randall. I think this one is one of the ones that Nitya stitched. So this is Swan. And these are seasonals. So you can stitch all four all together or separately. So each one representing a separate season. This is Grandma's Bands. This is a huge pattern. This is Al Randall. Just look. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Absolutely beautiful and weird at the same time. This is Town. So when I stitch it, I'm probably gonna omit the, I'm gonna turn the church into something else. So I'm gonna just omit the cross. I just love it. Again, I was looking for the squirrel because there's always a squirrel. Here it is. That's the squirrel. This one is Sampler Row. So So again, this is another one that we can stitch separately. These are stitched separately or all together as a row. Not the middle one. And this is fractured flower. So this is another one that it has a lot of specialty stitches, but you can just stitch them all as a regular cross stitch. And then again, speaking of range, like, so we were all like into animals, barns, and Quaker kind of motifs, right? I know we have this. Weird, right? This is like mermaids on an acid green fabric for some reason. I don't know. Mermaids singing. And look at her hair. This is just fabulous. I mean, yeah. It's just so fabulous. And it says on it, I have heard the mermaids singing each to each. So, yep. So, that was all of my Workbasket patterns. I mean, from the last time. So I have purchased a few from last time, and now all of this will be added to the pile. And I have one other one that's coming, and then for sure that's coming for sure, and then the Quaker Crow that I have already purchased, but fingers crossed it will make its way to me. Now the rest, that's not all. That was just a Workbasket section. While I was searching for those patterns, I came across this, and I know that Michelle has stitched this. So I was like, yeah, weird birds, why not? And this is a Sir Dandy. I'm probably gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna, I'm not sure if I'm gonna stitch the alphabet, but it's a quirky alphabet, but I don't like alphabets, so I'm probably gonna just cut the top and just stitch this. Just look at them. Yeah. And then I told you that I was looking for that Stitch in Time pattern, and I could not find it. So I found this pattern by Don Lewis from 1990, and it's called a Stitch in Time. Stitch in Time. So it's the same, because the name was similar, it popped up on my search, and the border is close to, it's not the same, but it's, you know, has a similar vibe, I will say, to the one I'm looking for, and it's my unicorn. So I bought it, and there it is. If you think that the photo is fuzzy, that's because it is. It's an actual photo, and it's not that clear because it's from 1990. So, yep. I like the border, and it says on it, well, where I apply my needle and my floss, the time I spent is never lost. And then has the, made by Don Lewis on it. So probably I'm gonna keep the saying and change the name to my name, because it has alphabet, so I can just, you know, change it to my name. And other than those, I purchased a few PDFs. So the first one, I don't have it printed, so I'm gonna just insert the photo here. It's the most recent release from Dees20stitches, and it's Flowers for Sylvia, and it's for Pride Month, and has all the flowers in it. They're all like symbolized, it has a meaning, and they're all symbol of specific part of the community, members of the community. So from Stitchy Princess, I have Miss Cross Stitch. That's so cute. And then the newest member of the Sinister Sweeties by Pixie Cross Stitch, Christy, is this, which is Pinky. Who's it devouring an ice cone? That's cute. I mean, not the devouring part, but cute. And then from CozyCabinStitching, Finding Warmth. I love the meaning behind this. So it says, turn your face toward the sun and you will find warmth on the coldest day. I'm planning on stitching this for my office. And then I signed up for Ice and Fire Staff by World on a String by Dara. Can't find her here. That's the address. And this was the first release. The second part will come up soon. Just look at this. Dragon, Fire, Pixie, Person of Color. Do I need to say more? So this was the first release. So I have a lot of sales going on this year, so I'm gonna just collect these and I'm gonna stitch them toward the end of year. I'm gonna start stitching them toward the end of year. Next, I have 2 months worth of my fabric of the month from Bestitchme. I am in the color club and 20 count. So this one was April's, and it's called Gorgeous Grape. And the name is accurate. This is a gorgeous grape. And these are our fat quarters. And then this is maize, and it's called fruit salad. And this is fantastic. Oh my god, I so love this. Has that. And then I bought 2 pieces. This was a pre-order from Mislaid Pages for 20 count. 2 pieces of 20 counts for called for fabric for these and Kari's pattern from last summer. I'm trying to remember the name. It was based on this is specific horror genre of Italian movies. And this was the fabric. Just look how amazing this is, and how like in your face. So yeah, I have 2 pieces of it. This is it. This is the end of my investments. Last thing is what I received as a designer. I received my very first designer pack, which is a big deal. So if you have been on my Instagram, you have seen the video that I shared, the reel that I made. Let me show you. Yeah, these are all Cosmo threads. Yeah, this is like, some of it is missing because I haven't started like working on organization. So yes, some of this. So these are 500 colors, the whole collection of their solid colors. And yeah, I'm super excited. And I've already started using them for design. So the first one, the first pattern that I came up with these was the Pride pattern that is going to be released on June 1st as part of the bundle, the charity bundle. This was long. Yeah, a lot of investments, and big wins when it comes to finishes, and great plans for month of June. So take care of yourself, be kind to yourself and others. Okay. Talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everyone. Bye.